Tits, Wit, and Grit is a podcast created to hold honest, intelligent conversations with women who lead, build, and navigate demanding professional lives. This podcast was born from a belief that women benefit from spaces where experience is honored, perspective is shared openly, and leadership can be discussed in both depth and candor, and maybe even a little laughter. Each episode brings forth voices that will offer insight drawn from their experience, and we will all speak honestly about leadership, resilience, ambition, and personal evolution. So let's get started. Tits, Wit, and Grit. Well, hello, ladies. So excited to see you this afternoon and ready to kick off Tits, Wit, and Grit. So let's dive right in today. Laura, let's tee up our guest.
Awesome. Great. Drum roll, please. Our first guest today, Gloria Campos. Gloria is a chief operating officer and firm administrator at McCraw Law Firm out of Texas. And they have 6 offices, so not a small job. A lot of places to cover that she's got to be. Are you cloned 6 different times, by the way? I'm going to ask you that question later. But she's been recognized in regional publications as a notable business leader. So she's not only good at what she does in the professional space, she's also good at what she does at home. She's a mom, she's a speaker, and she's one hell of a gardener and a cook. So Gloria, thank you so much for being on our podcast. We appreciate it, and we're ready to dive into it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Gloria, that's amazing. Hearing your bio is just phenomenal. I guess I'm wondering, my friend, can you kind of tell us where you were and what your journey of evolution was to where you are today?
So many things. Career-wise, over 20 years in legal operations. I grew up problem solving, right? To this executive role I'm in now in leadership. I wasn't out looking for specific titles. In fact, I think chief operating officer is very new for the legal space. I looked for problems to solve. That's as simple as I can make it. There were often problems other people didn't have time to solve and or didn't want to own it, right? To get it resolved. I've had a desire all my life to just learn, and over time that developed into strategy and planning. Culture was foreign years ago, and now I mean that's all the talk and performance and leadership. Yeah, that's kind of been my journey.
That's
kind of broad.
amazing. Yeah.
But well, in between that, I love to cook. Yes, I love to explore, go outdoors. I have a family. I have 3 kids, and a husband that's super supportive, which is very important to have, right? In your home base, and I don't know. It's just been a really incredible journey to date.
That's
Awesome.
great.
Gosh.
So Gloria, your husband will put him aside. Your kids will put aside.
Sure.
I want to hear, since again, Tits, Wit, and Grit, we're about women.
Yeah.
I want to hear about amazing women that have been in your life, and either that they're still in your lives today or they,
Sure.
have influenced you at a young age. I'd just
Yeah.
love to hear the story.
One thing, both on my mom's side and my father's side, there's a ton of women. Father's side, he had 8 brothers and sisters. Mother's side, 9 brothers and sisters. And so the female presence was loud on both ends. My grandmother on my father's side, grandmother Lucy, she was a huge inspiration, grew up next door. She was next door to me as I grew up. We just recently celebrated her 96th birthday. She is a woman of faith, strength. She was resilient. She challenged everything. She didn't expect more of others that she wasn't willing to do herself. She was a business owner. She had restaurants. She even ministered at a church. I mean, she was just constantly, at it with something. She was just always on the go, always on the move. And that was the example that was in front of me all the time. So just challenging herself in life and business is what I took away from her. And what I think my sisters, so I have 4 sisters, 5 women growing up, 5 young girls growing up, and there's a lot of leadership there, I'll tell you, a lot of influence and a lot of drive. I think all my sisters are very career driven, all different avenues, but all lead themselves and lead others. And so I think that combination taught me, high standards, right?
Yeah.
Have high standards for yourself and empathy for others.
Mhm. Yep.
Wow,
Great.
that's amazing.
Great.
So Grandma Lucy, so we got to get her on the podcast. Sounds like she needs to be
Yeah.
on
Oh,
here
absolutely. Let's do that.
at a
She's
future date.
amazing. And I
Eh,
learned my cooking from her. So, yeah.
Oh, see,
She's great.
awesome. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And awesome having sisters. I have 2 sisters as well, and Tracy I know
Yeah.
does as well.
Mhm.
Sarah doesn't have that privilege, but that's okay. She didn't have to share anything like we all did. So that's great. A follow up on that would be, with the 5 women strong in your family, like how do you like celebrate and lift each other up? Do you do
Mm.
that? Do you like call each other and say, it was a terrible day? Or how do you deal with certain situations that you might have? Any advice?
I think the things that I've learned professionally has really helped in how I respond personally to things, and everyone's going different directions. My oldest sister, she's an immigration attorney, so she's in the
Mm,
legal field. Had a really good example set for me with her. Another sister of mine, she's a regional manager for property management,
mm,
and I mean, she's strong. She's extremely strong, and you have to be in that arena too. I have another sister who's in the medical field, another one who's a police officer. So when it comes to like
mm,
influencing, I think we're also individually driven. That sometimes we forget it's okay to put that guard down and to show vulnerability, even amongst our
Mhm.
own family, and
Yeah.
that's something that we talk a lot about. So we're actually right now trying to practice that more,
Mm.
to say it's okay, that I don't have to be tough. This is just us. Let's have this conversation, be more candid about things. And
Yeah.
we've always supported each other. We're together all the time, especially like, holidays and gatherings, special occasions. But again, we're so used to at times being very strong,
Mm.
that
sure.
even in the dynamics of siblings, it sometimes stays there, so you've got to remind each other that it's okay to
Mm.
let your guard down.
Awesome.
It's
Absolutely.
interesting. All of you are in very male dominated, traditionally
Mm.
male dominated
Yes.
industries. And so I was
Yes.
just thinking through, how you were shaped by almost having I'll just say a pack of women, right? Like a
Mhm.
really tight, I would assume, um, supporting each other, pushing each other, those sorts of things. Do you think that played a role at all?
I think it did. So my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom, like obviously having 5 kiddos at that time. So she didn't work. My father was the, primary breadwinner and made a lot of the big decisions. I think with all of us, we didn't really give her a whole lot of room to talk. We were also loud and opinionated. My mom's probably one of the quietest, kindest, doesn't hurt a fly type of woman. And,
Mm.
I really don't know. Like, we're probably a lot more like my father because we saw that and we would try to empower
Mm.
her, encourage her to speak up, to say more. But, I almost feel like all the odds were against her at that point because,
Mm.
with a group of women, everyone has something to say.
That's
But
cute.
she took it like a champ, for
Hmm.
sure.
God. Okay, so changing gears a little bit, is there
Mhm.
a decision or a move in your career that has paid off because you trusted your gut and your intuition, even over kind of trends or popular advice?
Mm.
Sure. I would say, and this is a funny story, or just kind of ironic that we're having this conversation because I shared this at our 10-year anniversary at the company I'm at now. So about 10 years ago, I hit a real true crossroads. In my career, I had an opportunity to join a much larger established firm, the kind of move where it looks really safe. on paper, right? Bigger
Mm.
name, more resources, a very, very predictable path. And I'd given my notice and was preparing to take that next step. And then something, really unexpected happened. One of the partners, who Sarah, and
Mhm.
I deeply respect, um, he is really someone and that I respect in leadership. His character I watched up close. He asked me a very simple question. He said, "If I start my own firm, would you take that leap with me and build it and run it?" Right. Um, there was absolutely no blueprint, no guarantees, no safety net, just vision and trust.
Mm.
Now, if you guys have ever taken the disc profile, to kind of know, I'm a C, okay? Like I'm a C and a little D. I have the D there, but taking risks is not easy for someone like me. I plan everything. So I just remember thinking, okay, this is like the riskiest decision that I'm going to make, right? And or can be a really defining one.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I struggle with, and I think many people do, is walking away from things that are secure, right?
Mhm.
It's extremely uncomfortable. Um, you're betting not just on the business, you're betting on yourself, you're betting on the people that are around you, and on the possibility of it working out. It's just a possibility. It hasn't, even been planted yet. So walking away from that was hard, but I chose to trust my instincts and the partnership, over a safer path. So we
Wow.
started we started from the ground up, teams, processes, everything, and we built something from ground zero. And when you do that, you're wearing a lot of hats.
Yeah.
You learn super quick. I was doing finance, operations, crisis, hiring and interviewing, and a lot of times, a lot of that in the same day. So it gave me wonderful exposure, right, to business and how it runs in areas I wouldn't normally have had an opportunity to dive into. I think it really shaped who I show up to be every day to day. I'm just incredibly proud of the people that we have here and the culture and everything behind it.
Hmm. That's great. So, Gloria, you were not just building a beautiful business, but you also had, family at home. I'm curious how you navigated that during that season for yourself.
Well, I think we just do. I feel sometimes, at the end of it could be 1 o'clock in the morning and my brain's still going and processing. And then I'm thinking, okay, did I check all the boxes? Did I do everything? And it's good to surround yourself around good people too in these moments,
Yeah.
having a good support system around, because I do have to have those reminders that it's my daughter's game or my son has this that I've got to do, and so everything's got to be in a schedule so that I can stay engaged and I can have what I would consider the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I never dreamt of not having a career. It's always been something that is extremely meaningful and important to me, and I want to be my best self for
Mm.
them too. So I think that just making sure that that's communicated, in advance with the
Mhm.
people that are going to be a part of that story of yours. And I think it just sort of works out.
Absolutely.
There's some
Absolutely.
things we got to work through, but either way, I think as long as the picture's painted, I think that's probably what's helped me.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
great. That's really great. So, Gloria, I'm sure throughout this, beautiful 10 years that you've had, there's been lessons, whether it's a leadership lesson, a growth lesson that you learned, but the hard way.
Yeah,
And you're almost grateful now that it was the hard way and you truly stand beside it now. Is there something along those lines that you've gone through?
sure. I would say, and something Sarah Lynn will probably laugh at if he sees this, but you can't want growth for people more than they want it for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that is such a hard pill for me
Yeah.
to swallow. For a very, very long time, I have overextended myself trying to fix everything for everyone. Um, but there's no way that I can grow, right? Because it's kind of like pulling you back like an anchor. And but there's no way that I can grow and focus on the things that I need to unless I, set very clear expectations and let people know, hey, this is where you need to meet me, right? This is where you have to rise to meet. I will be your biggest advocate, your biggest cheerleader, no question. But that desire to grow and to learn really does have to come from within, and I think that was a hard lesson for me,
Sure.
to have to, you know, kind of learn and adapt to a new way of thinking and supporting someone else.
Sure. Yeah.
There's almost an instinct, I feel like, in, whether it's maternal or empathetic or like we want people to
Yeah.
fly, but you can't make them do it. You've got to create the opportunity and then they have to launch themselves into it.
Yeah, and then in business, you hear it a lot of times. Well, it's like you're for so many, the people they work with are like their family, right? And we're at in this space half of the day of our lives. It just seems it consumes a lot, and so we put a lot of time and effort and an investment, and so it just seems like the most reasonable thing to do. Okay, you need a help here. Let me help you here. You need this. Let me support you this way, but it becomes almost in too much. You don't have the bandwidth to keep going.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
as another lens on this, I mean, one of the interesting things about your role at the McCraw Law Firm is that you're at the top. I mean, obviously, you work very closely with the owner, founder,
Mhm.
um, but you are responsible for everyone, including the attorneys, is my
Mhm.
understanding.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the in legal operations, the chief legal officer, he and I work well together. We have the chief of marketer, her and I work well together. And then administration, you have some chiefs and heads in there, right, from the financial side, IT, HR director, and so yes, there's a lot of I think there's a lot of collaboration and then making sure that we're on track. That's just part of my role here.
Hmm.
Help and support.
You're being humble, but I'm just gonna speak on this a little bit more because I have found, and this isn't always the case, of course, but
Sure.
that attorneys have a hard time reporting to a non-attorney. And so I again, I'm just like commending you. And I mean, it's an awesome, awesome job that you've done to both build the
Yeah.
influence to be able to navigate that, especially in what has traditionally been a male
And I
dominated industry.
yeah. My answer to that would be there's strong personalities, right? And I think that that's true for a lot of male dominated industries, healthcare, tech, legal. It's just if you can get through that strong personality, at least for me, I try to approach it really with a stoic mindset, which I didn't have before, right? Years before, I would find myself in some, facing some serious challenges, but I have to focus on what I can control, right? I have to assume that there's positive intent behind it. And that really is what helps me stay grounded and
Mm.
how I communicate with them to solve problems. I think attorneys in general, I mean, they really do have extremely strong personalities. Some of them are don't, and some of them do. But I appreciate someone being direct with me. I appreciate honesty, and I think that they do as well. And so I think that's what creates that mutual respect between me and them.
It's
Mm.
great.
So, Gloria, do you have any, I wouldn't say weird because they're, yours, but do you have any habits? Habits at work of like every day I come into the office and I'm doing X, Y, and Z first. Some might say superstitious behavior if you're an athlete, but anything you
I don't
have?
think anything too interesting. I mean, I think that I am disciplined. There's certain things that I do. We're all kind of creatures of habit, whether it's coffee in my special cup, or or it's like making sure that I've journaled at the end of the day for 5 minutes, or I'm checking my emails for this much time. And I think the boundary that I've set for myself is not everything's an emergency. Right. In a law practice, and I imagine in a lot of industries, but there's a lot of noise in this business. And everything is an urgency, right? And for me, I have to, um, just because it's loud, it doesn't mean that it deserves my attention. And so I have to be very focused to, if I'm going to be a good leader, right? If I'm going to make good decisions, I can't be reactive to all of the noise. So I think that I do try to set hard boundaries with that. I try to consume what I'm hearing, and okay, I'm going to put that in the parking lot and I'm going to come back to that, and I'm going to try to stay focused. And I think it's the discipline behind. Otherwise, how can we do it all, right? Like there's just so much going on.
Right.
Do you
Right.
think we can do it all?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
Spoken
We'll be
like a
really
true.
we'll be really tired, but nothing that cucumbers can't fix over our eyes, and a nice
That's
paint job, with the hair salon. I think it should be fine.
yeah.
That's cute.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true woman. We can do it
That's
all.
what we do.
Totally. Would you recommend to your daughters or to young women go into this industry? Like this legal space is good for us?
The legal space or in any industry?
I was thinking the legal space, but you can answer
So
both.
my oldest is actually a senior in college. She's graduating this year. Actually in May 8th, we got her graduation date. And she's going into healthcare. She's in pre-med. And I have talked to her about opening her own practice, and ways that I can help her and support her in doing that. And right now, she's not looking for that, right? She's not looking for a leadership position. So, but she is, she feels empowered, and I think ultimately that's what we can do, is just kind of pass down what we've experienced, show support. But she's very strong-willed too, and it's, maybe you guys have experienced this, but they often need to go through that mistake themselves, and you can sound the alarms and raise flags, but that's just kind of how it goes. But she's great. My other daughter, she's 14, and I do think she's going to go so far. I do think she's going to go in the legal space. She sometimes goes head to head with some of the counsel that we have here. She's in debate. She's in softball. She is a hard hitter. She's a lot. She's a lot. She's obsessed with like all of the legal shows out there. She's watched everything,
Wow.
Law and Order, CSI. She's
Mhm.
Judge Judy was one of her favorite. All of the judges. She's super dramatic. She's just to me, she inspires me because nothing really stops her. And I wasn't courageous like she was when she was 14. So I definitely am just in awe of her every day. Now my son, he's very comfortable. He plays sports and he does well in school, but he doesn't like a lot of pressure. He doesn't want to have to go out and do more than he has to. So he's my homebody. But the girls, yeah, they definitely run the show. He often complains that his voice isn't heard, so we've got to try to balance that out between the three.
That's great.
That's
Um,
cute.
Your
That's
middle daughter, how old is she?
14.
14. So she's a
14,
freshman?
yes. She's next year,
Okay.
she'll be a freshman in the
That's
fall.
exciting.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
exciting. Is there opportunity for her to test out what it is that she desires and see how she does? Or
Well, as probably many parents out there, we just try to inspire them, coach them, help them, put them in front of opportunities, and see if they will do the rest. And so she's had public speaking training. Like I
Nice.
said, she does debate.
Mm,
She's played softball for years before that, soccer,
mm,
soccer. She's an art. She loves crafts. There's really nothing
mm,
that stops her. Bob Ross, like the famous painter, is someone
Mhm.
who she
yeah,
adores, and she paints. She's really good at it.
that's
So
great.
she's into so many
Huh.
different hobbies. She plays. She taught herself the piano. She got it downloaded an app,
I
and
love that.
she plays piano. She's just so creative. So while I
Mm,
think that she's going to go the legal path, we'll see.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. Yeah.
Gosh,
I mean,
that's
she
great.
didn't really want to be a lawyer. She said, "I want to be a judge, Mom. That's what I want to be."
oh,
And I said, "Well,
there you
you
go.
got to start here before you go
Yeah.
there." So she's like, "Okay, well, I'll do that." And then that's really her long-term goal.
Mm,
Wow, that's
wow.
still very
It's
impressive.
funny. Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of a funny question, but when
Yeah.
we sent you the information about Tits, Wit, and Grit, what did you think? Like, what was your reaction? Were you like, "Oh my god, this sounds crazy," or what was your
No.
thought?
No. I mean, I was smiling from cheek to cheek. It was um I think it's moving. I think it calls to action, empowerment and
Mm,
and to sharing stories and people who have had to put a lot of grit, women who have had to uh, have a lot of grit to get through the day, to get through their journey. I don't know. If I can say this word, I thought it was ballsy. I liked it.
You for
You
sure
can.
consider that one.
Yes.
If we could say
Yeah.
tits, you can say ballsy.
That's true, right? Yeah. I was all in. Let's do it. I don't
That's
even know what to
great,
expect.
Gloria.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That's
But
great. That's really good.
Gloria, how do you? I mean, since wit is kind of part of it too, and typically when people think of law firms, it's not really witty. It's maybe sarcastic, but maybe witty. But like,
Mm,
what's your firm like? Like, how do you guys encourage kind of some of that playful culture that doesn't cross the line, but yet it's
Yeah.
fun?
Yeah. I think we have a lot of that here, believe
mhm,
it or not. I think that's how we keep our sanity. There are a lot of firms out there that maybe are more traditional, and I mean it's a serious practice, but you've got to find ways to lighten up. And I mean the partners here will tell you I have put them through the ringer in uh, presenting to the team in fun ways. And if that's putting on a costume, we're going to give them a show. Like, we're going to have fun with this because if they see as leaders, you're allowing yourself to be
mhm,
playful, right? And that gives them permission to
mhm.
do that too.
Mhm.
So I think that we have a really great culture here. I mean, Lynn's probably the CEO founder here. He's probably he has about 10 costumes I've made him put on for one reason or another, along with the other ones. But we're always trying to find a way to make light of serious things that we're dealing with because it can be a lot of pressure.
Mm,
So yeah,
yeah.
I think we do a good job with that.
Mm,
I'm happy
Me-
with it.
One of my
That's
reflections as I've gotten to know you, as I've gotten to know Lynn and other folks at the firm, is that sometimes in business, people choose money over people.
mm,
Mm,
And I have found that you either have found the perfect balance or have maybe even leaned more on the people side, which I think is pretty impressive again. Um, so I don't know if you want to talk about that at all, but I just find that you guys are really focused on not only the clients, but your team.
yes. Yes. And that was even through I would say that one thing that we have to give ourselves permission for is to accept one, we don't know anything. It's okay to vocalize that and to learn from others. And we have had, and Lynn has had some great mentorship in this area, some colleagues and partners that are willing to share what's worked, what's not worked. And then having somebody that's creative on the other end, right? The two have to work. Lynn can tell me, a CEO or founder of an organization can tell you what the vision looks like, but like for in my seat as a COO, I have to figure out how to bring that to life, right? So there's a lot of creativity that has to go into that. Then it's also the culture that you want to have. There are businesses out there that they're going to run a much tighter shift and it is serious to the bone. And there's a lot of personality profiles that fit within that, right? It's just a matter of what do you want to live by? What do you value? What's the culture you want in your organization? And then you just have to find the people that can appreciate that, want to be a part of it, and want to add to it to cultivate it. When you have 10 people, fine, two of you can do a lot of the work, most of the work to really influence the culture you want to see. When you have 25, 50, like you can't have it to just one or two people anymore. Like they've got it. The people you're bringing in really do have to be the ones cultivating that and pushing it forward. So I think that's kind of what is it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
bit?
I mean, I would say, again, I think you, just knowing you guys a little bit, you're not just always making decisions based off of profit. You're also making
Yeah.
decisions that balance the
Yeah.
people involved.
Yeah. And I think it's the transparency behind it too that we have with our team. You know, we all know we have to show up to work and we have a job to do. That's fair in any industry, no matter what you choose to do. Even if you have your own business, you've got to show up and open those doors, right? And for us, it's a balance. Look, we need you to have a skill set to perform the role that the seat has designed to do, but we also want you to be a really good culture fit too. And it doesn't come easy. And when you are really pushing that agenda out, you lose a few people, right, along the way. You
Yeah.
have some turnover, you experience some attrition there. That's just due to alignment, right? You might have some people that come in off the bat and they might align with two of your values, but the other two, that's a challenge for them, right?
Yeah.
And even through conversation and through time, they might realize this really isn't a fit for me. That's okay. We appreciate that, right? Because our journey is going to continue and this is what we value and we have to find it. And when it comes to, okay, let's say for instance, an example, you have a high performer, someone who's bringing in a lot of financial value to an organization, but if they're toxic, right? And you have an organization designed much like ours, where every seat here has a purpose and contributes to that bottom line, then now you're a risk of impacting, the rest of the design. And so we look at it that way more than we look at it, okay, this one performer might do well, but you don't get along with anyone. We can't really be a team and move forward together.
Sure.
So that's our bigger picture that we look at when we are facing a challenge with an individual person. We go back to that. We analyze that situation both ways.
I love that. I love that. And you guys have built a beautiful business, Gloria. I'm going to pivot for a second though, because
Sure.
I'd love to learn a little bit more like about you. Like where do you see Gloria in 5, 10 years? Like what does the future hold for you? What's exciting to you?
Yeah, maybe on this podcast. Is there room?
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm witty. I can, dress up. Yeah. Have some fun. I think continuing to I don't know necessarily that I have carved out a final plan for
Mm.
me. I still very much see that I'm like learning and I'm meeting so many new people and trying to see where that, evolves to. But, I do envision whatever institutional knowledge that I have
Mhm.
that I pass that forward and help other people develop. That's probably what I think for myself right now is what the future looks like,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely. And that's targeting females? Or are you just leadership in general? What are you passionate about in that regard?
I would say I love bridging. Like I love to bridge issues. So if a
Mm.
problem comes, let's
Got it.
let's find how we can find a middle ground. You need this person, that person needs you, right?
Mm.
You have alignment here. most everything makes and breaks with communication. So I think I would find myself there. I love the seat that I'm in now. Again, chief operating officer didn't exist
No.
for many years.
Mm-mm.
And
Yeah.
at the end, it's just carrying many hats, and I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. I really don't know what I would be doing otherwise.
So
you
Gloria,
talked-
I'm going to give you an out
Sure.
because if Lynn does listen to this podcast, you're never
That's okay.
retiring, right? Okay.
The
Well,
good thing is there, he and I often talk about this.
let's pretend you win the lottery.
Sure.
What's Gloria doing? What's
Hmm.
the first thing? Okay, what's the first place you're going to visit? And then you can take all your sisters, all your family, all your friends. Hopefully us. We'll do the live version of the TWG.
That's where we'll have the
at some-
podcast. Yes.
Well, where's the first place you're going to visit? And then second of all, what's the first thing you're going to buy for yourself?
Mm.
Wow, that's super hard because I will tell you that the first thing, because don't we have these kind of scenarios in our minds sometimes if this happens and what would I do? So this is definitely one that I've thought about, and I would definitely want to make sure that I give to my family, give to the people that are here at work. Where I would want to travel, Italy. I have not been there yet, but it's in my next 2-year picture. So I love
Buongiorno.
Italian food. So I just want to stuff my face with Italian food and bread and get all bloated. That's just so much fun. Doesn't that sound fun?
Yes.
Uh,
You forgot
sitting
drink
on a
wine.
couch with a big bowl, no judgment.
Some
that's-
wine with that?
Yes,
Some wine?
absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay.
Have
Go
some
ahead.
wine with it, of course. And travel. I do love traveling. I'm a fan of the outdoors. I love hiking. I love the beach. It's just anything that can get me into an open space, hearing nature at night. I sleep with ocean sounds, and I don't know. I just love being outside.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite things.
Okay, what are you going to
That's
buy for
awesome.
yourself? Come on.
What
What
would
are
I
you
buy
buying?
for myself? I don't know. I don't know. Can it be an irresponsible purchase? Like,
Yes.
you
Who won the
know?
freaking lottery?
Right.
My God, go
Right.
crazy.
Maybe like a little, not a big one, but like a little boat. That would be
Oh,
fun. Like a little sailboat, like a
Like-
sailboat. I think I would get me a sailboat. That's what I would get.
Okay.
Do you know
Not
how
a
to
yacht.
sail?
No, but I've been on them, and I
Okay.
love the beach.
love
Okay.
it.
And so I think I would get a sailboat. Yes.
That's very cool. I love it.
like
You
it.
would
And
make-
I'll hire somebody because I will have won the lottery. So
Right.
I won't technically need to learn how to
Yes.
do it. I'll hire someone to do it while I have my wine and pasta. Perfect world.
So,
and if you
perfect
wanted
world.
to
And-
learn a piece of it, you could learn like all the knots.
Oh, that's true.
Just in case that comes up and you need to know one.
no.
Laura says no knots.
No knots.
And Gloria, just a little to make you feel even better about Italy, because of how they make their pasta and not so much processed stuff
Yeah.
as a part of it, you do not get bloated.
That's what I heard, that it's like, it doesn't have the gluten or something.
It's amazing. So yeah.
Yeah.
So don't not feel. But
So
again,
I
you've
get
won the
to go
lottery,
there,
so
have
who
all the
cares?
pasta and bread that I want, and I won't get
Mm.
bloated.
Perfect.
Cool.
I mean,
Done.
yeah.
That's
Laura,
That's
you've been to
amazing.
Italy? Tracy, have you
Here.
been to Italy?
I
Okay.
have.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I
Have you
lived
seen-
in
Amazing.
Rome for about
yes,
9
that's right.
months. Yeah. So I love it also. And I concur. And I think that the wine flows from the fountains, basically. It's cheaper
Literally.
than
Wow.
buying soda. So you might as well just keep drinking wine. It's wonderful.
I'm excited. I can't wait. I haven't been to Europe at all, so that's
Mm.
the next destination.
All right.
So
Very
The
good.
next 5 years. That's
I
it.
see a lot
Yeah,
of places
bet.
for this podcast to go.
Me too.
I love it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Wit and Grit
For sure.
from where would we do it from? Sicily, maybe?
Amalfi, the
Or
Amalfi
Amalfi.
Coast.
Love it.
Most-
Okay,
There.
good.
I'm
You'd be on the
there.
beach.
Yes.
Mhm.
You'd be on the beach. It's supposed
I'm
to
not
be
sure the
beautiful.
Vatican would take us. I'm
Ooh,
not
no.
sure.
Oh.
We'd have to
We
change the
can
title a
we
little
can
bit.
take your podcast to the streets and talk
Yeah.
to women, ask them questions as we go, interview them. That'd be fun.
That'd be
I like it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Walk
Good
around
for
with the
you.
wine.
Ask them if they need an attorney, share the law firm while I'm at it, market it, put my t-shirt and logo on. It all works out.
That's perfect.
Really great. Okay, what show are you watching right now? Anything you're really into?
Yes, which
Yeah.
I'm sort of embarrassed to share because one, it's been out forever. So when I say it, people are like, "Oh, that's been out forever." So, The Crown, I am
Oh,
right now.
Yes.
And I'm in season 4, and it's been out for so long, and I just wanted to watch it and learn kind of, okay, the history behind it, compare it to what happened in real life. So it's taken me a while to finish because when some big, event happens, I look it up to see if it was true. And so, I mean, it takes research, it's history, but I'm obsessed with that right now. I even
that's
found
awesome.
myself talking a little bit like it too when I was texting and trying to sound a little bit mysterious, and it's catchy. It's
That's
catchy. I
awesome.
like it, Yeah,
I
it's
remember
a great show.
I watched it a little while ago, maybe a year or two ago, but looking it up thinking, this cannot be real.
Yeah,
And it is. It's a
Yeah.
it
very
is.
historically accurate show.
It
Mhm.
is.
Pretty
Extremely
fascinating.
accurate.
Mhm.
A lot of
Mhm.
juicy stuff in there too, let me add.
True.
Jeez, yes.
True. Gosh. And it doesn't end there. They're going to have a show forever, I think, those
Really? Well,
monarchs.
they've
No,
got a lifelong viewer right here because
yes.
it's
Front
intense. It's
row
good.
with the
Yeah,
with
it's like
popcorn.
1 o'clock in the morning and I'm just watching it, have to be really quiet, but I just can't let it go, yeah.
That's
I
great.
only had 3 hours of sleep, that's fine.
It's fun.
That's
That's
all
why we
right.
have
We'll get
caffeine.
through it.
Yeah,
Coffee.
yeah, a
Awesome.
lot of it,
Yeah.
I
So you
actually went on a challenge. So, funny story, a couple of people in our admin team, you'd asked me if I wanted to go on this, coffee challenge with them, no coffee. In fact, it was like a fasting, not even eating, and going 3 days with nothing but water. And so I said, "Okay, fine." And they've been talking about it for like months. So when finally they reached out on a Sunday and said, "Okay, we're going to do it. Will you do it with us?" And I said, "Okay, I'll do it with you guys." Let's say that Monday the next day, 10:30, 11, the first person came in and she said, I can't do this anymore. I I tried. I need to have my coffee and I just want to know, do you want me to make you one? And mind you, she's the one that actually texted me and was like, I need your support. Let's do this, right? I
oh,
looked at her and I
great.
smiled and I said, "No, I'm going to try to get through this
Yeah.
day. Let me just," right? The other person as well slowly gave up. In fact, funny story on that, one of them actually brought their lunch just in case they were not going to make it. Oh, you plan not to get through this challenge by
Yes.
lunchtime. Wonderful. Okay. So I said, "No, now I have something to prove to you guys. Now I've got to do this." And so I went all day, all night. I allowed myself a couple of almonds and nuts that night. And I will admit, I felt dizzy and did not, I had a headache. It just wasn't a great experience. The next day, I switched it up and I said, "Okay, I'm just going to fast till noon. That will prevent me from the craving of coffee, which is what I drink the
Sure.
morning, like as soon as I get up in the morning." So I am now 13 or 14 days in of no coffee,
Oh, wow.
no caffeine, and I feel fine. But it is hard because everywhere you go, you smell it, you
Yeah.
hear it,
Yep.
and it's like I'm not over the addiction at
Yeah.
all. So I'm gonna try to go through this Sunday and then I'm gonna gradually get back in it. But they're all super proud of me because they know coffee's the staple in my life. And so now they're like, "We can't let you fail. We can't." Like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll keep going." But that's what I'm
Gosh.
doing right now.
Are
Small
you
challenges. That's what we have to do for ourselves, though, right? As little
Yep.
small wins.
Yep. Are you
I love it.
substituting it with something? Like I stopped coffee for probably about 2 months and had like hot water with a lemon. So like I had something to look forward to, but it wasn't the coffee.
At night, 8 o'clock, I will have a decaf
Okay.
chai tea, and
Yep.
I'll put a little splash of oat milk, some
Mhm.
cinnamon, and a little honey. And it kind of gives me the fix. But because I'm fasting until noon and just not having anything, that by noon, I'm ready to eat the cow. Like I don't even want the coffee. I'm going all in, which is funny because with some of the ladies I go to lunch with, they make fun of me now 'cause they think I attack my plate. I'm like, I'm starving. Let's go.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
experience.
That's great.
I did a juice cleanse once with my husband when we were first dating,
hmm
and he thought I was crazy. But anyway, it was a good experience. It was very difficult. The treat at the end of the day is like an almond water,
Yeah.
Mm.
and it tastes like a cupcake by the time you get
Oh
through the
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
I was
anyway,
like dreaming of bananas the first night. I'm like, geez, I need a banana. And that's not typically my go-to unless I'm having a smoothie or something. But geez, that was probably it just sounded like cheesecake on a plate. But I got over it.
I love it.
I started
Uh,
watching Crown and I got into the intensity of the drama that I was able to forget
mm,
about it.
Mm.
it's
Yeah.
great. It's a
It's
good
good
crutch,
times. Good
a healthy
times. Yeah.
crutch for you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
that's awesome. Gloria, in our few minutes that we have left, a little bit of a rapid fire. I'm going to ask you
Sure.
some questions. Um, what's a mantra or phrase that you live by?
Oh, everyone in this office will tell you. I believe in doing what you say you're going to do.
Mm.
Follow through matters, and I hold myself to that. That's typically where things kind of fall between when there's issues that arise or problems that come up. Oftentimes, it's that follow through, and so I say that a lot. Do
Mm.
what you say you're going to do.
Yep. Awesome.
That's
That's a good one
That's
for
great.
sure.
Mhm.
How about a favorite book or a book that you're reading
Oh,
that you love that
there's
everybody
so
should
much
know?
that. Oh, The Intentional Journey is my favorite book.
Yes.
I We know that one. Gloria. That's awesome.
That's
Yes,
fantastic.
that's a good one. Also, Lean In was Sheryl Sandberg. I think I had shared with you
Yep.
guys.
Great
Mm.
one.
It's been, I think, 4 or 5 years since I read that one, but what I took away from that was stop second guessing yourself. Right?
Mm.
If you're in the room, you have permission to speak and not shrinking yourself. And I
Uh-huh.
say that often at
Yep.
times when I get asked to step into leadership management coaching, a program that we have here. And I tell that to our ladies, don't shrink yourselves. Don't put yourselves in the sidelines, just because you might be dealing with a personality that's stronger than yours. So that's she's such an inspiration, just her entire journey and everything that she has done. I think she's empowered so many, definitely me, that
Well,
even
yeah.
like don't wait until like not all of the stars are going to align. Um, don't wait until you feel ready because you're never going to feel 100% ready, and you just got to go. You got to
Yeah.
go with it, even if it feels uncomfortable.
Mm.
Mm,
That's awesome.
yeah. It's a little bit kind of like this podcast. We were
A
talking
little
about it,
bit,
We're like,
little
let's
bit.
just do it. Let's just see. Let's just see where it goes.
How did that
Mm,
get started too? Like, how did the idea
Well,
started?
well, Laura named it, and I
Oh,
couldn't
you
say
did?
and I couldn't say the full title for like 3 months. I was like, Wit and Grit. And the reason is that Laura and I are both from Minnesota, so there's like
Okay.
this like prude, very innocent, very like naive quality that I have, and
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to say "but" in my household
Yeah.
until I was 18 years old. So there you go. So that was hard for me, but it it is, I'm telling you, it is everything that we as women need to be right now, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is proud of who we are
Mm.
and leaning in, just like Cheryl says in her book, and full of some laughter because what the heck, we only get one time to do this, right? So pretty
When
fun.
I saw the name, I thought that is different for Sarah, but I'm into it.
know,
Let's do
Gloria.
it.
I know.
Now that I know it's Laura, I can see that.
I'm glad you figured that one out.
Love
That's
it.
good.
Love it.
It was literally one of those shower moments, or when you wake up at 1 a.m. I just was like,
Yeah.
because we were talking about it, and we kind of were like some dorky corporate things. And I'm like, I don't want to be dorky corporate. I want to have some fun with
Yeah.
this. Like, that's
There's so much
yes.
personality.
But I am
There's so much personality. Yeah.
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
trademarking it, or we are trademarking it. But the other thing to add on for Sarah, what she said is, we kind of want a legacy for
Yeah.
our, we all have daughters, and not that if you don't have a daughter, it doesn't mean you can't listen to this podcast, but
Sure.
it was
yeah.
a little bit of, we're better than our mom's generation. We want them to be leaps and bounds better than our generation. And, talking about stuff and understanding it's okay to talk about stuff, and it's okay to talk about what you do if you win the lottery.
Yeah.
And I think, that was important. We are going to have our daughters on, which will be great.
Oh, I
on a
love
future
that.
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that'll be kind of fun. So
Yeah.
That'll be very interesting. I hope that they have some freedom to share some embarrassing stories. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Totally so.
they will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Okay,
also
Gloria,
just
one more. Oh, go ahead, Tracy.
sorry. Also
Yeah.
just kind of compounding what Sarah and Laura said,
Yeah.
it's we wanted to make sure that our stories were reflected and shared, right? We've all had several seasons of growth through leadership, personal experiences, and so forth. And we really wanted to create space, similar to what you said before about showing up. It creates permission for them to do likewise. And so making sure we were paving a way for other women, whether they're in leadership space, desire to be in leadership space, they're in a male-dominated vertical or not, but just
Yeah.
allowing them to know that they have the right to take up space in whatever area of their life they desire, and giving them that kind of permission slip by having honest and radical conversations with other amazing women.
I love it. I'm moved by it. It's we're all having to be so proper at all times, and what's an acceptable standard, and I think it's great. I think it's going to empower a lot of people. It certainly did me. I've had a blast.
Thank you, Gloria.
Okay, Gloria.
Yeah.
So we after this, it's not for public consumption, but we might be doing a happy hour, the three of us, to celebrate this first episode.
Nice.
And if you happy hour, what would be your drink of choice? It could be non-alcoholic. It doesn't matter. There's no judging, but always curious to hear.
This one might shock you, but typically my drink of choice is a Crown Royal and ginger ale on ice with lime. That's my
Nice.
go-to.
Nice.
That's my
Cool.
signature drink. Pretty much it's a staple. Everybody knows that's my alcoholic beverage.
I love it.
A choice
All
of
right.
beverage. It's
That's
alcohol.
great.
Yeah.
It's great.
I like wine. Love it. But
That's-
that other one's my go-to. I feel very controlled with the other one. I feel pretty good
Hmm.
about it. Wine makes me very
All right.
relaxed. I feel like
Mm.
I almost can't do anything else but just relax when I have wine.
That's
Yeah,
good.
sounds like good
That's
wine.
What are you drinking? Yeah.
That's
Well,
awesome.
that's great. And again, I mean, we are just so happy to kick off this series with you, Gloria.
Yeah.
It's an honor to watch you, kind of through your leadership build a culture and a business that is thriving and growing and providing a path for your people to build careers, build their skills. So bravo to you again. And thank you for joining us in this conversation. It's just really been a blast to chat with you, get to know you a little bit better. And thanks for being on.
Absolutely.
That's it for today's episode of Tits, Wit, and Grit, where bold women, big ideas, and a little bit of fearless attitude collide.
If today's conversation sparked something for you, share it with someone who needs it. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next.
Remember, show up with confidence, trust your wit, And never underestimate the power of grit. See you next time.